Welcome back to Proxy, everybody, and today I am once again with my boy DeadofNight, and we are going to be talking about the Pariah Nexus mission pack. How you doing today, DeadofNight?
Doing good. How you been, Proxy?
Pretty good, man. I'm pretty excited about this thing, honestly. I did a video on it a little bit ago, and I just can't stop thinking about Pariah Nexus and how
Yeah.
good it's going to be for Eldar. What are your thoughts on it? Just what do you think about it overall?
Overall, I'm not as gaga. I don't think over the battle line kind of mission rule thing for Eldar.
Hmm.
I think it's a neat thing for the game. I think it's a good thing for the game actually.
Yeah,
But I think for the Eldar, but it's more the secret missions. It's going to be more our thing
right.
if we choose to
Yeah,
go that route.
I would definitely agree. I think at first when I saw this, the only thing I was thinking about was Storm Guardians. I was like, man, I love Storm Guardians, and now they're even better, right? I mean,
Here we go.
oh man,
Yeah, I figured that was coming.
I know, man. I'm sorry. I gotta tell everybody I love Storm Guardians. They're awesome. You know, they never do bad in a game for me. I don't know. They always do something, which is great, you know? It's always cool when you have a unit in your list that no matter how bad you roll, still does something. You know what I mean?
With T3.
With toughness 3, that's right. T3 in a dream, man. That's like honestly Storm Guardians in a nutshell. Fusion guns all the way. Flamers, let's go, dude. I love them. But if we look at the Pariah Nexus rules, the reason why I was so excited is because some of the mission rules are actually really good for Storm Guardians. Now, I will say I do agree with you though that Eldar aren't typically a faction you think of battle line for, right? And
Right.
I actually don't think these mission rules are going to alone make Eldar like this just totally amazing faction in Pariah Nexus. I would actually say quite the opposite. I think in general, you know, we're already pretty good at scoring secondary victory points. The mission rules boost secondary victory points. We're already pretty good at
Yep.
that, right? Um, so like that's the first one, the raise banners, which is, gives you a couple extra victory points, but in reality, we're lucky to get a couple more victory points from that. It's not going to be much. We might get two, maybe three if we're doing really well in the game, but that's about it. And that's if we take one or two battle line units in our list.
Yeah. I think too. Like a lot of people competitively we are taking one or two. Like you see a lot of people
Right.
playing Storm Guardians these days.
Sure.
But I
Absolutely.
think I think overall, I don't think we have to adjust anything that anybody's doing. Like if you happen to be taking a unit of them, great. If not, that's okay too.
Right. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention really quick that's been kind of a discussion amongst Eldar players is are Corsair Void Reavers now super good because of this
Right.
mission rule, right?
Yeah.
And then rapid escalation, they're also pretty good in that, especially if, for example, you put five in a Wave Serpent. And you know what's funny? Dead of Night, I was talking about Corsair Void Reavers perhaps becoming meta within the next couple months, and it looks like they actually might become like kind of a meta unit out of the blue.
Proxy gets one.
1 point for Proxy. Well, 2 points because of the Storm Guardians that I predicted were going to be
I
awesome
was
in
I was
meta.
I was trying to not talk about that, but
We all know you hate Storm Guardians, man. It's okay. Um, and yeah, so they're pretty good with this, and I think because they have Scout, if you do get first turn, they can. If you have like maybe two units and a unit of Storm Guardians, you can probably easily get four victory points for secondaries on raised banners, and that's what people are kind of talking about, right? But I just want to let people know what happens if you don't get that mission rule, or if you do not get first turn. You're probably not going to be able to raise banners. So
I think
I just want people to hedge their bets a little bit on that because I think Corsair Void Reavers can be good. I just don't think, again, that we necessarily struggle with secondaries, and it's not something that's going to be game changing. You know what I mean?
yeah, the majority of the time too, like competitively, like your player packet will tell you what your missions are before you even put your list in.
Right, in
So
tournaments, sure.
like you'll know if you should maybe like it's heavy on these battle line missions. Maybe we do need to add an extra battle line unit. Maybe we'll be more comfortable doing that.
Right, right. Excellent point, actually. Absolutely excellent. Because yeah, absolutely, you're going to be looking at, you know, the mission rules for the tournament, game one, game two, etc. And if you see that, raise banners is there in your first game, maybe you're like, you know what? Maybe I want to, add a unit of Corsairs in there and get some extra secondaries. Maybe, you know.
Yeah, usually there's kind of like the board layout too,
Hmm.
to some degree, and if you can game a couple units of guardians, I don't see why not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know Storm Guardians can really get up there, right?
I think rapid escalation too. If you get a wraith cannon in there too, maybe, right?
Oh yeah, and the Corsair Void River unit. Yeah,
Yeah. So
the only issue is it's you would have to just you can only really do it with one unit. But yeah, you can do
no,
it for
right, right,
sure.
right.
Yeah. And that might be worth something. I think as a unit of 10 they are pretty good, but maybe even as a unit of 5, they can take a blaster or shredder. I think blaster is a pretty decent weapon.
10 makes them a little more durable too, though.
It does, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and it makes them actually a potent force in
obnoxious. Yeah, it
combat.
just makes them weird and obnoxious there in that role. But I
Right.
mean, fringe.
Oh,
Fringe,
for sure.
fringe mission.
Yeah, especially since they don't have Strands of Fate, so you can't guarantee that charge more easily, the 3+ charge with the 6 on your Fate dice, which kind of
It just gives
sucks.
everybody a reason to use them now.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're going to see them. I just don't, I really like the Wave Serpent Scout kind of thing, but I just don't
Yeah.
think that these mission rules are going to necessarily make them super OP. I just think they're going to be good anyway because, I think we are going to see possibly more people going towards a more mechanized build because of the importance of battle line units. Like, think about armies like Death Guard, for example, who normally kind of struggle with secondary points if they're, behind, because their bread and butter is extend enemy battle lines and, you know, deploy teleport armor
Right.
because they just hold the objectives in the center. That's their whole thing. And if your opponent happens to have a lot of characters or a lot of vehicles, then they're going to go for those specific ones, perhaps instead. But they're going to love this, So I think other armies are going to benefit way more from this because they struggle with secondaries. Eldar don't struggle with secondaries. We struggle with primaries, which is a whole nother bag, which we'll get into a little later. But if we go to some of the primary missions, we'll also see a little bit of a difference in how points are scored, and it really kind of incentivizes people to score on those points early. But you have to survive on the objective, right? Like terraform. Not only do you have to get to the objective, but you have to hold it for a round to get those extra victory points for a terraformed objective, right? And really, when you think about it, it's usually about 5 victory points you get from, taking and holding, for example. But in this case, you get 6. So you just have to get there first, right? Which is pretty good, but is it good for Eldar? I don't know. Right?
Yeah, it's like that's kind of a tougher one for us for sure.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of units that can do it. I mean, maybe the Avatar of Cain or Wraith Blades or Wraith Guard or something like that, something tough, but
Warlock conclaves,
Warlock Conclaves, man.
all that OC.
Oh yeah, dude, tons of OC. I mean, they really do though.
This
I
goes
mean,
back to
two
your Storm
OC piece.
Guardians though too.
Yeah, for sure. I have had a unit of Storm Guardians hold an objective. It doesn't happen in every game, but it definitely happens a couple times where your opponent is just not able to kill every single one of them. You have like 2 Storm Guardians left on the objective. You're like, let's go. Right?
Right.
I mean,
Well, I see.
normally they don't score on it unless I'm going second, but it is what it is. They do make it sticky, and from there I can score on it. So, and actually that's kind of interesting because if you make an objective sticky, can you also terraform? I don't think you can.
The unit has to be on that.
Yeah, I don't think you can, so that doesn't count. Unfortunately. So that may even be a little bit worse for Eldar
Too
with
bad.
Storm Guardians too.
Too bad Rangers aren't battle line anymore.
Dude, they really need to be battle line, man. I mean, let's just talk about that for a second. That does not make any sense. They have been a troops choice battle line kind of unit
Their entire life.
forever. Yeah, they've never, I don't think they've ever been. Someone in the comment section can tell me. But since I've started playing in third edition,
They had the Outcast, but that was just a separate unit, right? Those they were just
there were
elites.
just upgraded Rangers and there were still troops.
Right.
They just
Oh,
had
they
the
still
plus
count
one
as
cover.
troops, yeah.
And I think they had minus, did they have minus one to hit? No, they had cover and,
Probably.
oh
They're
no, you
pretty
know what it
wide. They're
was?
pretty good. Invol.
It was plus two to their armor
Oh,
save. I remember that. Yeah,
yeah,
they
there
were
you
good though. They were really good. Oh my god, I made so many people rage with 2-up rerollable cover saves.
go.
Those are the good old days when Fortune was like the best psychic power in the game. And then we have some new secondary missions as well, which I think are freaking fantastic. At least for the one I saw, which is Marked for Death, which is just kill units, right? I mean, when is the last time we've seen something like this that's just like, yeah, kill enemy units? I mean, of course, cleanse, right? But I think Marked for Death is a lot better because you can kind of, it's a little more flexible, right? Like, your opponent gets to choose the units that you have to kill, which I think is really interesting, instead of choosing an objective. Like, I never liked Tempting Target, just because I felt half the times I drew it, it was either like I was automatically going to score it or I wasn't going to score it. You know, it was like one or the other. And I think Marked for Death is a lot more reasonable as far as that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for Eldar.
Yeah, I mean, we like killing stuff.
Mobility armies.
Yeah, for sure. And like,
Shooty armies.
absolutely, your opponent has to kind of choose at least one unit that might be vulnerable, and Eldar are great at just picking off stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. And then, of course, you have the secret missions, which are probably the best part of the Pariah Nexus. And what do you think of the secret missions, man? Like, what is your view on them?
I think this is where we're gonna excel. If we choose to go that way. I mean, the disadvantage of losing the points is kind of deterrent, you know.
Right. But you know what? I'll have to say this
I think
in the
our speed and like some of our units, especially the Way Leaper is just so good at.
right.
Which one was that?
That's the command insertion, right?
Yeah,
Which is your warlord has to be at the end of the battle within range of one or more objective markers in your opponent's deployment zone. That's going to be their home objective, obviously, right?
right.
So that's pretty reasonable for a fast-moving infantry unit with a
That
fire and
has low
fade,
now.
right? That has loan up, that could potentially revive themselves, right? It's awesome. And you know what? If it wasn't just the Warlord, I'd say, hey, Triple Way Leaper, dude, this is your calling, man. This is the Triple Way Leaper build now. But it
This could
has
be
to be
an
a
interesting
Warlord.
thing too, where it's like, okay, the Avatar is my warlord now.
Right. Or the
You
Yin
know,
Karn's my Warlord, right?
right? Yeah,
Think about the Yin
Yankarn,
Karn, dude.
spicy.
That you know what? That one's a really good one because check this out.
They'd
You're
have to leave their home objective
right.
with if you have indirect and
There you go, dude. There you go.
oh no.
It's a no-win situation. Yin Karn is fast
Uh,
enough with Fire and Fade and advance rolls to probably get there anyway.
we're gonna rename this one Eldar Insertion.
This is exactly correct, dude. Like, there's so many things you can do with it. Like, everyone's thinking the, Way Leaper, but that, which is obviously the
You just
go-to,
throw your
but
warp spiders back there
so
and just
much.
clear it out.
Absolutely, dude. It's so good. I mean, if there's a unit on it, Yin Karn can just teleport, and if there's
You can
not a
even
unit on it,
strat.
the
You
Yin
can
Karn
even
can just
strat
move.
reserve, and just be back there with your strat reserves as well,
Oh, for
or your
sure.
deep strikers. Deep strike yeah, you
It's
can do whatever you want.
absolutely it's a going second paradise because your opponent really has no options, and that's going to get you an automatic 40 primary points. And well, pretty much, right? I mean, you
Autarch
do have to
Skyrunner
score
with
the other.
his
Yeah.
9 jet bikes and
Oh,
Warlock jet bike, and they're just there.
dude. Oh my God.
Fire and fade. Hello.
That would be so good, dude. Like, there's so many options with that, and it's just going to
These are
be an
drawn at
absolute
these
nightmare. for
If you
people's
pick
stuff.
this, you got to pick it. No, you get to choose which one you do.
You
Correct?
do, yes, you get to
Yeah.
choose.
So
The best part about it is you keep it secret from your opponent.
yeah, like what?
It's a secret mission. It's a secret, dude. Shh,
Uh,
dude. This is the
secretly get 20 points.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing I like about it because if your opponent knew what it was, it would be kind of a stupid gimmick, you know. But it's it's a mind game now. And I love games that you can play with your opponent that involve trickery. And I've always liked it, you know, and
Yeah.
that's why I play the Eldar, dude.
Wonder. Right there. Boom.
Yeah. Super freaking great, dude. I mean, this was like a dream
Like
come true, honestly. Oh man. By the way, like
now
the
they're just gonna nerf our movement and things.
we'll have to wait and see on that, dude.
You know,
I
that's
mean,
next.
at least here's the thing though, at least we'll get okay, so we're probably going to get at least 2 months with the Pariah Nexus before we potentially get nerfed, right? But yeah, it's going to be super strong. We'll just have to wait and see though, because I'm also seeing a lot of strength from things like Chaos Space Marines, Orcs. I mean, all those armies are going to be really good into this too. Um, you know, because there are things that slower armies can score well on as well. Like, okay, so for example, War of Attrition is probably one of the harder ones, right? Your battle line units have to be within your opponent's deployment zone, and your opponent can't have any battle line in the, I guess, on the battlefield at all. So they have to either you have to either destroy all their battle line units, or no battle line units in your opponent's army can be there in their deployment zone. I just think that's really difficult, right? Like, and if you think about how you would go about doing that, you have to like what get a unit
Wave
of
serpent,
yeah, I guess you could do a wave serpent with like a unit of guardians inside or a unit of
Falcon
void reavers.
Quins.
Yeah, exactly. I think Quins would be really good at this, but what else, right?
Yeah, maybe yeah, Dark Eldar for sure too.
Dark Eldar would be good. I mean, they have some solid battle line units, Dark Eldar, with the Cobalite Warriors and Witches and stuff.
Yep.
Like, especially with
All the
Sky Splinter.
transports, you know.
Big time. But in general, I just think, you know, you do have to just also kill all your opponent's battle lines. So that one could be a little hard. Now, the other two, I think, are where the mind games really begin. Because your opponent, knowing Eldar, and knowing that everybody's talking about command insertion is going to say, oh, they're going to go for command insertion, right? So they're going to try to block that center objective off. You know, like even if you brought in the Yinkarn, if they put enough stuff on the objective, even the Yinkarn can't really get in and control that objective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where either shatter cohesion, which is a little hard to get actually, which is just table your opponent, but more
Yeah, that
importantly,
was
you can't do it. I mean, realistically, in a close game, you're not going to be able to do that. But Unbroken Wall, on the other hand, is something you can definitely trick your opponent with. Because if you choose Unbroken Wall in the beginning of the game, and your opponent assumes because of your build you're going for command insertion, and if you pretend, not by like metagaming it and like saying it to your opponent, I'm not talking about that, but if you move your character, your warlord at least, into a position where they can get onto the objective on turn 5, your opponent is going to naturally assume, if they're good, that you're going to go for command insertion, right? Like anybody would do that. But instead,
so.
you didn't pick that. You picked Unbroken Wall.
So pieces of shatter cohesion, I think we could do kind of easy, like unit below half strength.
Oh
If
yeah,
you
for
have
sure.
that in your head, that's what you're kind of trying to do the whole game.
Hmm.
I think for Eldar, it's not that hard.
Yeah, you definitely could do that. And also you could do that unit is more than 3 inches away from
Right?
all objective markers.
Objective.
That's
Yep. That'd be a little
possible.
tougher though.
Yeah, it is. It is, especially if you don't table them, right?
Below half strength, though, I think it's probably the most reasonable one for us.
Yeah, it's doable, but against some armies it'll be impossible because they'll get to resurrect and stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
there's just too many armies, like Necrons. Like you can't really do it against Necrons. You can't really do it that well against things that resurrect. You know, Tyrannid, for example. Like if they're running any kind of gaunts, you can easily just res a gaunt unit pass, and then you lose, right? So Yeah, shatter cohesion's possible. I just don't think it's the best for every situation. But I mean, that mind game between Unbroken Wall and command insertion, I think is beautiful. I think it's honestly a great combo. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there's opponents where you're just going to simply want to go for command insertion because you know it's an automatic win. But in cases where you think, oh, my opponent has a ton of units, like you're going against Imperial Guard player or something like that, and like, they just have tons and tons of infantry or tanks or whatever to block you. Just say, okay, well, I'll go for Unbroken Wall instead, and I'll wipe your units off from the mid objectives, and then I'll hold those objectives if I win second. But you got to go second, right?
I think that one is maybe a little tougher for us too, though.
It is. It
Going
is
all
if you
three,
don't
but
play the
it's
mind
not till
game.
the end of the battle. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not till the end of the battle.
yeah, exactly. So like, it really depends. But yeah, I mean, I love the secret missions. Like, I really like them. I think they're really cool.
I think these you would build your army into, right? These would
Yes,
be more so
definitely.
what you're building your army
Oh,
into.
big time. Because I mean, like for all you players out there, Eldar players who struggle on scoring primaries, and you're like coming out of games with like 20 primary victory points, like this is for you. Because you're gonna get, that 20 that you got plus an additional 20. You're gonna get 40 victory points out of this, and it's gonna be really big. Like, and there's even games that I have like where I'm winning like by a good amount, and I'm still not getting 50 primary victory points, right? So like there's really no point sometimes in like actually playing the primary game with Eldar because it's so back and forth. And I know, I mean, even now, there are Eldar players that are dominating their games. They're scoring a bunch of primary points, or they're also scoring their secondaries and stuff. But that's not every game, right? Like this is an every game scenario where you can score 40 victory points every game pretty reliably, which is really cool.
Wouldn't you declare the secret mission right in the beginning, right?
I believe it's in the beginning of the game when you declare reserves and stuff like that, but I don't think they mentioned it. I just think they said at the beginning of the game. So to me, that either means when you're
So
deploying,
you
before
so
you're
you score
deploying.
primaries turn 2 and 3, and then
Yeah, essentially, I think so, right? Because I think you choose the secret mission in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. At least I think. But let me know in the comments, guys, if you're getting a different impression. But when I read the article, I think they said at the beginning of the game you choose one. Um, and then you get 20 points in addition to whatever else you score in primaries, but it caps at 40, is what I thought.
that might be it. Yeah.
But anyway, if you guys know better in the comments, let me know because this is just off the top of my head. But that's still really good, right? Like you still have a chance to score primary victory points on your own, but you're getting that insurance policy of, I'm going to score the secret
And the
mission.
20 at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I thought we could talk about is what will a list look like in Pariah Nexus, and how should players go about creating one if, and I know we don't know everything yet, but we know a lot already, and I think we can basically kind of assume some stuff, right? Like maybe battle line units are going to have a little bit more importance.
Yeah.
So for Eldar, that really doesn't mean take a bunch of battle line. I know people might think that, but what it means is that other players are going to be taking a lot of battle line because they have more solid battle line choices. So how do we kill enemy battle line better? That's what Eldar players should be thinking about, right? So I already have a few ideas for that, and we'll talk about that. But
What's beautiful is we're already trying to figure out how to kill orcs, so it's kind of like
exactly, right?
hand in
And like
hand.
it goes exactly, dude. It goes hand in hand because orc players they're gonna get nerfed. Let's be real. Like they're about a month away from getting nerfed. Chaos Space Marines, they just came out and they just started dominating tournaments right off the bat. They're gonna get a nerf, right? No doubt in my mind at all in a month. But who knows? I mean, with the Pariah Nexus, even with those nerfs, those armies are going to be really strong if they have strong battle line units. Like Legionaries are going to be so strong, I think, regardless. They could They could bring him up from 80 points. They could even give him, put him at 90 points. I still think they'd be really good, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Battle Scribe really quick, and you just
Yes,
tell
my
me,
favorite time.
Battle Scribe, dude. Let's make a
List
list.
building time.
So I think the obvious choice to start out, and I think basically the whole community can agree, maybe, is Autarch Wayleaper, right? Now,
Yep.
there's two arguments here, and I know Quinn players are going to be like saying, dude, Proxy Hammer, what about the Troop Master? Because he makes troops battle line. Of course, right? That's good. I just think if you're going to play the secret mission game, I think you got to go with the Wayleaper. But
Absolutely. Just
th-
have yeah.
that's just me, and
We're,
I
we're
love the
playing it. We're
Wayleaper.
playing him anyways.
Yeah, exactly, right? We're using him anyways. Let's throw him in there.
Also, Joiner kind of mentioned in your Discord, which I also agree, he has to have the Phoenix Gem
Phoenix Gem,
now.
dude. Absolutely. You have to, right? You know what's funny though? I've actually never taken it off, even with the points nerf. Because honestly, it's always done so well for me, and it's always kind of like been worth it. So I'm like, oh
I,
fuck it, I'm gonna keep it on.
I always prefer the Wayleaper with Manda Blasters these days.
Interesting. Interesting.
Like, if you're gonna go into melee with it, it's usually gonna be on your terms, so you're
Right.
probably attacking first anyways.
The only reason I would say in the secret mission business of going with the Howling Banshees or Howling Banshee Mask is because if you go first and you put your Warlord on that objective, your opponent at that point might have something that can kill it if you don't have fights first. So that's the only reason I go with the Howling Banshee Mask, is it kind of like eliminates that possibility.
Yeah, but are you taking the Wayleaper there by himself?
Probably not. You're probably going to try to protect it as well as possible, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's gonna be stuff you have to clear off of that objective.
Right. For sure. Like my go-to for that, if I'm just going for command insertion, I'm bringing a unit of 9 Wind Riders with Farseer, Skyrunner, and I'm positioning them in such a way that the moment my opponent moves towards the Autarch Wayleaper, they're getting overwatched with a bunch of shuriken cannons, you know?
Yep.
I mean, that's how
Yep.
I would run it. But I don't know. I've seen some crazy, stupid shit where like somebody will like charge in with a power fist, and it's like one sergeant, and it's like, take 2 wounds at 2 damage each, and you're like 2 1s,
Oh no.
and you're just like, oh
Yeah.
fuck. The other thing people have to watch out for is a lot of people are going to say, well, the Phoenix Gem will save you. Well, it should, right?
Yeah.
But the
It's
problem
until
with the
that one
Phoenix Gem,
time.
well, yeah, you could roll a 1, of course. But the other thing is, if your opponent positions their models in such a way that you have to revive outside of the objective, you just lost the game, right? You've just lost, which can be kind of stupid. It's a really stupid way to lose, but like, yeah, it could happen, right? So I don't know. I like the Howling Banshee Mask, but you could definitely go with the Mana Blasters if you're really confident that you have the maneuverability with your other units to make sure that doesn't happen. Like you're putting screens out there, like you're using Shroudrunner as a screen, or using like whatever you have, to like just screen out that home objective. Yeah, for sure. Like Mana Blasters are like the way to go, right? If you're not getting charged.
Yeah, I think some other options too for this is, you got your Wave Serpent, your
Of course. Yeah,
leaders, your characters on foot, so you can pile them in there with some
interesting.
Guardians or whatever,
Sure.
and kind of do the same thing.
That's an interesting concept. I didn't even think of that, but you're right. Like
The,
you
the
could have
way
one
the
on
way
foot.
leaper the way leaper is cheeky because he's solo, has lone op. We're playing him anyways.
Right. Interesting. What do you think of Baharoth being your warlord
Uh,
and just fucking putting him with some
yeah,
hawks?
with the Hawks, yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
and just like
They just
dumping
jump.
him on there.
Yeah, they leap off the table on turn uh, 4,
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm thinking.
come
Like
down and get into position, just shoot the fuck out of whatever's there.
move 6 inches, then fire and fade onto it. Like,
Right?
isn't that going to be hard to screen out?
I would imagine.
Dude, the possibilities are
I could be
endless. Like
wrong.
that's what I love about playing Eldar is like the
That
movement
sounds that
possibilities are so
sounds that
endless.
sounds like it might be the dream right
I
there. I
think
don't know.
that's a last blaster in a dream, dude. I think that's right on the money. So if the Autarch Wayleaper is probably the obvious choice, but if we
Yeah.
dug a little deeper, we could find some other stuff that works.
I kind of run Baja and Swooping Hawks anyways, so like
See, I think for you, I think try that, you know?
right, you know,
Try that
both.
because
That's
that's
what I'm
good.
saying is both.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. Okay, so we have the Autarch Wayleaper. Now, I'm just gonna, you know, just for just for the fans of Guardians out there, because let's be real here for a second. Almost every player has at least one unit of Guardians.
Proxy, is that your other YouTube account that always talks about Guardians? That one fan of yours? Is that your other YouTube account?
Who talks about that? Who else
What's
is
that
talking
guy's
about
name?
Guardians? I don't. I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I don't know. It must be. Yeah, I
If
bet you don't.
somebody has a YouTube channel talking about how much they love Guardians, please PM me so that
No,
I
I'm
can
saying,
support your
I'm saying,
channel.
I'm saying, I'm saying that's the other secret one that you just comment on your own channel with.
I just have a secret Guardian lover like channel, you know.
I wouldn't put it past
I
you.
have a pinup of a Guardian, a female Guardian. Oh my god, dude. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it. We have to, Dead of Night. We have to for the fans, for the people. Storm Guardians, right? Now, I honestly think it's sticky objectives is going to be really good because a lot of people again are going to go more battle line, and also I think Storm Guardians are underrated as far as their ability to duel other battle line units that are around their points cost because they're 100 points, but they can actually take on a unit of legionaries and win. I know
No,
they're
I
20
agree.
more
I
points,
think,
but they
I
can
think,
do it.
I think the one unit of Storm Guardians is probably more of a. It's like everybody's taking it now, but it's probably more of a case to take it now.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't even think you need to give it a character or anything. Maybe a Warlock. Actually, maybe a Warlock.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Maybe
that'd
give
be
him
a
Quicken.
I think that would be a good idea to give him a warlock for a quick yeah, exactly like what you said, like quicken. Um I would probably only do it if it was like the
Wait, hold
last
on.
thing in
Go
my
wait.
list
Go
though.
back to the Warlock has Quicken and what's his other one?
Restrain.
Restrain. So isn't that kind of nasty with Storm Guardians if you're restraining things that are trying to get to your sticky objectives?
I mean, I definitely like that idea. Like and if you look on here, the warlock, right? You have the ability to restrain, which is -2 to charge rolls. The problem is that they're so far forward that I have found, at least in my own experience, that restrain barely does anything. You can't use them both in the same turn, which
Yeah, maybe.
sucks.
Yeah, it'd probably have to be used in conjunction with like Rangers or something.
Yeah, I think so.
By the way, the free Quicken. That's what I was kind of getting at.
Yeah, the quicken's great because there to put it kind of mildly, you're not always going to get a 6 for fate dice anymore. I know we'd like to think, on average dice we'll always get a 6. The truth is like sometimes you just don't get a 6. All right, you roll it 3 times and you're like you have 3 fate dice left and you're like looking at a 2, a 4 and a 5 and it's you can't do it, right? Um so quicken is good in those cases. And I also think that somewhere along the lines, warlocks might get a points decrease. Like we might see
Oh
like
baby.
30-point warlocks. Well, because if you
Oh
look at
my.
like commissars, for example, like if you compare them to a commissar from Imperial Guard,
Yep.
commissar is just straight up better. You know, just better in combat, better at range. I know destructor's a thing, but I'm pretty sure commissars get like a power or plasma pistol, which is really good. Um,
Yeah, at least give the Warlock like a better melee option or
Yeah, and
something.
then I think the Commissar can also take like a power weapon or power fist or something like that. So, you know, Commissar is just better, let's be real.
You know what I always found odd is like we have like the best psychers in the game,
Hmm.
but why don't they have like their psychic abilities just have like just nasty AP? It's always like no AP.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why.
You gonna tell me? You know, I
Yeah. Well, it's one of those
seems odd to me.
confusing kind of things. It's like I think
Like this,
Warlocks suffered the tax for being so good in auto include last edition and ninth
yeah,
that now they just are not that good. But I think they're good in some ways. It's just you never have extra points for them in a list. You
yeah.
know?
I like the Warlock here with the Guardians, but he's also a piece that if you need to make some points,
Yeah.
probably sacrifice him.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll tack him on at the end if we still have points. He's good. I think there's an argument to be made with Storm Guardians that you have him. But the unit I'm really looking at is Wind Riders, right? I mean, think about it for a second. Wind Riders are your go-to Marine killers, and what are people gonna run because of these battle line buffs?
Hmm.
Right? They're gonna be running Wind Riders.
Yeah, we'll be running all the 2 wound.
That's right.
Oh,
Whoops. Wind Riders. Here we go.
see, like I think things just aren't changing that much.
Yeah. Well, I don't think everything's gonna change. Like, there's gonna be things that are gonna remain the same. You know,
The big dog pack.
dog pack.
Yeah, I said you're going for the big dog pack.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. I thought you meant like literally a dog pack, like I was playing Space Wolves or something. I'm like,
we can make something work out.
yeah. Um. Well, yeah. I think you go with the big dog pack because of what I said before with the, you know, Farser Skyrunner. I think you really go
You gotta have
full
your
into it.
warlock with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
big time.
warlock and farseer.
Yeah, you do need that. So we need the Warlock in here. The Warlock Skyrunner. He'll be in there.
No room for that foot one no more.
Yeah, probably not. But that's okay. We have the Farser Skyrunner too. And they're just gonna be, singing spears probably. But I mean, I guess you could go with whatever you wanted as far as that goes. That doesn't really matter. But I think you go with the big pack of Wind Riders. That's gonna be a unit that can just cycle through battle line units super quick. If you want to go Weeping Stones, you can get some extra fate dice. But again, it's only if you have extra points, right?
I think another unit kind of in that this sort of role, killing battle line units and
Hmm.
being fast.
Yeah,
Obviously, our warp spiders.
warp spiders are good. I think you do need warp spiders in this type of list as well because you still need things that score secondaries. Now, warp spiders don't necessarily kill battle line units, to be honest, because they do an average of 3 mortal wounds, which is about, you know,
Yeah,
a
but
third.
make their saves.
Yeah, they make their saves, which they'll probably fail 2 more, so you probably kill about 2 or 3. I would say 3, right? Um, but they're still alive. I mean, warp spiders are good. I just don't think they're the best damage against battle line. Just my opinion though.
Well, if you only run them in little baby five
Yeah, baby
packs, yeah.
5 packs. Yeah, if you're running a 10 pack, they can cycle through a unit pretty easily of battle line, like 5 Marines, no problem, usually. Um,
But like, yeah, I mean, even 2 5 packs is like reasonable. I feel because like
yeah,
same thing. They could travel together and just do the
sure.
same result.
Yeah, and they can score secondaries. I like warp spiders. Yeah, let's put a few units in there. I like that. And guys, just to let you know, those of you who are watching, I am trying to put all the upgrades on, but if I forget, they obviously have all the upgrades, right? Like, I'm not going to ever give my Warp Spider Exarch only one Death Spinner. Okay, so we have that. We are at 865. We have a ton of points to spend. I think the next thing we should look at is probably Swooping Hawks because they're just good.
Yeah.
I mean, there are secondary objective scorers. We need Swooping Hawks. I say just put in 2 units, make it simple, you know. Most armies have 2 units for a reason, and it's just because they can score secondaries so easily. But we have 2 units of those.
I like one Scorpion.
One Scorpion for an infiltrate. We definitely need one Scorpion in the list. That's a good idea. So we put the striking Scorpions in there. I think you're a fan of the
Yeah,
Scorpion's
I
Claw.
rock the Claw.
Let's just let's just go with the Claw, man. Let's just go with the Claw. But it's up to you, Biting Blade or Claw. Both of them are good. Both of them
Yeah,
are
for
good.
sure.
What would you suggest we put in the list next, man? What do you think?
So I think we're looking at like we kind of need some anti-tank things. We can kind of go this infantry route still and just run like a bunch of fire dragons, which is neat. Or we could run some bigger toys to
Interesting.
clear anti-tank.
You know what I just thought? I was hoping you would say Fire Dragons. Because check this out. My thoughts on Fire Dragons is their value just went up insanely.
Yeah,
Insane.
yeah.
First of all, they're great at clearing and trading.
Transports.
Yeah, exactly. Like what are people going to be bringing to bring their battle line into position? Transports. What are great at killing transports and also the units inside? Fire dragons. Like Falcon and Fire Dragons are like the perfect transport popping slash like infantry killing combo. Like heavy infantry. They're fantastic. And people are going to start bringing like hardcore battle line units like, okay, I know custodies aren't good right now, but they're going to be. And I'll tell you why. In the next balance patch, custodies are going to get a buff. I guarantee you, like GW is not going to leave the Golden Boys to just languish at the bottom. They're going to get a buff. And what's great at killing custodies? Fire dragons. Especially since, I mean, they might add back the feel no pain against dev wounds and stuff, but they're not going to get feel no pain against everything, right? They'll just get the invul save. It's invul or die with fire dragons. Like literally. So I think fire dragons are great. I think they're good in every matchup pretty much in the game right now. I don't know about things like Gene Stealer Colt, but they're great against everything else. And I've actually never played against Gene Stealer Colt, so I literally could not tell you. No one in my group plays Gene Stealer Colt. Like I think there was a myth one time about somebody playing Gene Stealer Colt in the hobby shop ones, but like that myth has been lost to time. You know, I mean, like no one plays Gene Stealer Colt where I live. So, have you ever played against Gene Stealer Colt?
A good buddy of mine just built a call army, so
Nice,
I'm sure I will soon.
nice. That's always a good feeling when like somebody starts a new army that you've never played before. It's like cool. I'm gonna get a lot of experience against that. Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
he
not
built
me.
it in like 2 days. I'm like, you're a
Yeah,
freak, bro.
he built it in 2 days, dude.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Check it for mold lines. Check
Oh no,
them.
he's good. He's good.
No,
He's
he's a
good.
good one. He's a
He's a good one. Yeah.
okay, cool. Like that's insane, man. It takes me so long to build models. Like I swear to God,
Yeah, I don't have the attention span. I don't think.
we know for me it's like my hand cramps up really bad. Like my bones start hurting. I think I have like early onset arthritis or something like that, man. Like I'm not even kidding, dude. I'm
Yeah, we're getting
surprised
old.
that my painting is okay. Like I'm very surprised because my hands just start hurting after.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel you.
I know. I mean, you should know you play MOBA games, dude. So like, you would know like
Oh
hand
yeah.
pain. Oh my god, the clicking, dude. Like, I can't play like MOBA games anymore, really, because my finger just freaking hurts after a while. Like, I can't do it. It's just so much clicking around. Like,
Oh yeah, I
you know.
can't sit at a computer for hours on end anymore either.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you get older and you can't do it anymore. Okay, so we need fire dragons. For
Yeah,
sure.
fire
Now, the
dragons.
question is, do we go with the triple Falcon and just go all in, or we go double Falcon, or maybe just like a single squad with Fuegan, maybe? I think Fuegan's still great, obviously. What do you think?
Yeah, you Fuegan is good.
So we're at
Or
1090 right now, but we do have our
do we need the
secondaries taken
Falcon
care
though?
of. I think we need the Falcon, dude. I think you need the
We
Falcon
do need some
for Fire
beef.
Dragons.
We are missing beef here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could go like the all infantry direction, like with no
Race
vehicles at
guard.
all, and just yeah. I mean, not even Wraith Guard. You could just go full. Like there's, I can't remember his name, but there was a really good French, I believe. Don't quote me, but I think he's French. Eldar player who just plays like pure infantry Eldar and like jet bikes and stuff and doesn't like run any like falcons or fire prisms or anything. He's like really good. So I mean you could do that. I don't know. That's not my style. I like the falcons. So
No, that's fair.
what do you think? Do you want to go with double falcon with fire dragons and Fuegan and then see if we have points for anything else and then see like what we
What
could fit?
about now this one's spicy. What about double falcon serpent
Okay. Double falcon, fire dragon, serpent, troop, you've
or
rain?
guardians?
Oh,
Maybe
guardians. I don't think we can put the guardians in the wave serpent because then
just
they don't
leave
get
them out. Leave
sticky.
them be.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point they're storm guardians, man. Like I've actually in some games had them survive more than, but they always die eventually, right? I just think just let them die. I hate to, I hate to, oh
Wow,
God, people
some
are.
friend you are to these storm guardians.
I'm their best friend because I put them on the board in the first place,
Yeah.
or else they'd be at home like twiddling with a harp or something. You know how guardians are. But yeah,
Proxy, are you falling to chaos right now?
falling to chaos? No, dude.
Okay,
I'm an
just
Eldar
checking.
lover through and through. But I mean, Eldar, if you think about it in their lore and stuff like that, they are a little bit wild. I mean, they do participate in Eldar sacrifice, right? Like, um, they
Oh,
literally have to follow a path, or else they will turn to Slanesh.
Proxy Death Jester has to be pretty nasty now with Fate's Messenger, right?
Yeah, I like the Death Jester. You know what I always felt about the Death Jester though, after like the beginning of the edition, I always felt like he was like a great model, but he was almost like a luxury. Like I've always felt like the Death Jester is like just a luxury to have. Like it's not like necessary, but like it is good. You know what I mean? It's
Oh
like a
yeah.
guilty pleasure. It's like watching like
Yeah,
your
if you're
guilty
running him,
pleasure
you're
show.
like, dang, I am so happy I have this man on the table.
Yep. But when you're building a list, it's like, do I really need him?
Right?
He's like the first thing to get cut from your list. Like I've always noticed that. Like
But
people always
yes,
wanted to put him in, but they're
he's
like,
so good.
he is really cool, and he's a cool model. Let's save him for the end and see. Let's just add the
Yeah,
fire dragons in and just see where we're at
he's
because
about to be hanging out with that warlock on foot.
I know, man. Okay, we put the fire dragons in here. We'll give them the fire pikes because I think we're gonna give them falcons. Obviously, if you run them on foot, you give them the dragon fusion guns. And then we put falcons in the list. So we have two falcons. And we're up to 1540, so we're looking good. We give it the Shuriken Cannon and the Bright Lance, of course. Okay.
So
Fuegan
I
or
feel
no
for
Fuegan? Just,
hold
just,
on though. I
mhm.
feel for synergy, we kind of need a shroud runner.
We do need a Shroud Runner, right? I think maybe
I think
just
just
one.
one we could get away with. Yeah,
Yeah, because we only have one unit of Wind Rider, so let's just do one. Boop. We're
and
at,
they could support the Scorps as well.
they can. Well, kind of, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're actually kind of underrated into vehicles. I mean, I know it seems weird, but
oh
like
yeah,
fire dragons with lethal hits and rerolls to
oh yeah.
wound, firing into. I mean, you could down a
Spicy.
monolith or something like with some hot rolls. Like seriously. Okay, so we have that. We're at 1620. We have 380 points.
Huh. I
Is
mean,
Fuegan worth it? I think he might be because
you
he's
said 380 points.
sticky.
The first thing that came to my head was the Incarn, but
Oh my god, dude. I
hold
don't
on, how
know,
many
dude. I
things
mean,
do
you
you got?
could, you
You got
could.
enough things in there? You got how many?
We have a lot of things. We have 2 units of warp spiders, 2 hawks, striking scorpions, 2 units of fire dragons, falcons, storm guardians, autarch, wheel leaper, farseer scanner, warlock, skyrunner.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's not enough things.
Yeah, probably not. I think. Well, I mean, really, if you think
Well,
about,
if we are playing Phoenix Gem Way Leaper, I like Flagon for sure. 'Cause then
yeah,
then you're playing both.
right. Yeah,
instances
you know
of
what? I will say
resurrection. Yeah.
this. If you're going Autarch Wayleaper with the Warlord, like the Incarn thing we talked about earlier probably isn't worth it, right?
You can
Because you have
change
to
your
have your
warlord.
Warlord.
No, you can't change your warlord between games, can you?
No, you can't.
Yeah, I don't think you could.
Also, then the Autarch Wayleaper loses the command point thing. So,
Well, yeah, but I mean,
yeah, I think the Yinkarn thing would be really good in Yunari, dude. Oh
for
no,
sure.
you know what? Never mind. Never mind. You can't even do it then because you've Vrain as your Warlord. So you'd have to make a list just with the Incarn as your Warlord to like make that strategy we talked about work.
Yeah,
Let's throw in Fuegan. Why not? So Fuegan's
yeah, I
in the
like
list.
Flagon.
We have 250 left. Here's the real question at this point. Do we invest in a hard hitting melee unit like Quinn's?
Part of me was thinking double Warwalker.
Okay. Interesting. Double Warwalker is really good. Or do we
Um,
invest in Corsair Void Reavers? Like, people like,
you're saying go extra battle line.
yeah, a little bit of extra battle line with Scout, maybe. I don't know though.
How many
I
points are
think
the Quinn boats?
the Quinn boats are 80. They're the Star Weavers.
Yeah,
I think those are pretty good. They have shuriken cannons. Shuriken cannons are good at dealing with battle line.
you could put Quinns in the Serpent though too. You know.
Yeah, you could. We could also go with 2 units of Skyweavers for extra
Or
anti-vehicle.
wait, hold on. How many Quinns and Falcons sounds great too.
It is. Actually, I just had a talk with Exile Wargaming, I did an
Mm-hmm.
interview with him.
Yep.
Great Quinn player, by the way. Just a shout out to him and his channel, Exile Wargaming. Check him out if you can. He does a lot of cool Quinn battle reports. But yeah, I mean, he was telling me that a Troop Master with a Falcon and Quinns in it could absolutely wreck stuff. I don't think we quite have enough points. We'd have to cut something, I think, but it's a possibility, right? It's a possibility. I just don't know what we'd cut from the list. I think if it was up to me, I'd cut a warp spider. I know that sounds like kind of like oh my gosh, don't
That's
cut a warp
taboo for
spider.
me.
Taboo, yeah. But we have so much other stuff with secondary scoring, you know?
Yeah, we needed all proxy.
I know, man. We have 2 units of swooping hawks. We will have one warp spider unit. Striking scorpions can technically score a secondary in the beginning of the game. I mean, they probably don't want to, but we have Storm Guardians who can definitely do it and probably should be doing a deploy teleport armor or something like that.
So 411s are
And
interesting. I
they
mean,
are.
isn't our Shadow Weaver kind of neat now?
I think it still sucks, unfortunately. I wish it was
But
good,
if we're
dude.
trying to clear out opponent's home objective
I know, but it's never going to kill
or Night
anything.
Spinners, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, well, the problem with those units is I just don't think they have the math to like actually kill
what are
stuff.
we traveling with the Wayleaper to help him? Like the jet
The
bikes?
jet bikes. Yeah. They should, if we played this list right, they should be surviving for the rest of the game, right? Like,
Yeah,
we
you just
have,
fire and fade the whole time.
yeah, and then we have our trading units. We have our fire dragons, we have our striking scorpions, our storm guardians to bait out units. Like, we have all these units that can, fight in the midboard to kind of like draw units out, draw them into the middle, and then we can kind of just at the last couple turns, move up the Altarch Wayleaper, set up the Wind Riders to overwatch on the objective and stuff. But we also have stuff on the other hand that can, technically, like I said, score the whatever it is, the unbroken wall, right? So we can hold all the center objectives because we have some
Our
vehicles.
other, our cheap artillery option is just Dark Reapers too, which might be
Oh
interesting.
yeah, I love Dark Reapers. Like you could definitely do 2 Dark Reapers in this list, and I don't think you would be sorry for it. I think it'd be
Right.
fine for sure. I just part of me is like screaming, dude, like take the melee unit in the Falcon. But, you know, I don't know if that's a good idea. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I mean, it'd
What
be
about
good, no doubt. I mean, even Vizark, if we got rid of a unit of Warp Spiders, we could go Vizark with 5 Quins in a Falcon.
Wraith Lord?
We could also do Wraithlord. Um,
You got some melee
I'm
there.
I'm about to make a video on the Wraithlord and the Wraithseer and kind of what I think about them, but to give some people a kind of a sneak peek, I think they're good. I just think they're missing something. And I think that's really why people don't take them is that they're like missing something. And I think what it is just it may not even be the fact that they hit on 4+, right? I think it's
I think it's that and
their
their
ability.
160 points. So like,
Well, I think it's
if they hit on threes,
yeah,
if they hit on threes and they're like a buck 40,
yeah.
it'd be a take.
Oh,
Or if they had
for
an
sure.
invul save.
Well, the Wraithseer has that.
Not yeah, the race here
Yeah,
does
but it
for
hits on
sure. But like,
fours still, right?
right, why does the Wraith Lord not have an invul? I don't know.
It really should, but I mean, it's never had one historically, so it makes sense that it wouldn't have one.
True.
But um, I don't know. I think if its ability was better, I could see it being justified at 160. Like for example, like if it rerolled wound rolls on objectives, like when it's targeting things on objectives, I think it'd be worth 160, like for sure. But I mean, just getting a fate dice if you kill something just seems really like lackluster for being 160. And then the battle shock from the Wraith
Well,
Seer doesn't make any sense either. It's like
yeah.
what
Well,
the
the biggest problem too with the Wraith Lord is you almost have to take the
Bright
character
Lances.
with them.
Oh no,
Well,
yeah, you're
yeah,
right. The Spirit's here, right? So you can hit on
yeah,
threes and you're taking Bright Lances on it.
lethals and yeah.
Yeah, but then it opens you up to a slew of other weaknesses like anti-infantry, anti-psyker, and it's like,
But it
oh
turns
god.
your 160 point unit into,
Yeah, 245 or whatever. No, I'm wrong. I'm
it's like
sorry.
220.
225,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's not that much. It's not like Fate's Messenger
But
version.
for what you get, it's like,
I don't know if you're really getting 240 points or 220 points worth of goodness out of that though anymore.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're not. Yeah,
I think
it's like,
probably the best way to run a Wraith Lord now is just base with Bright Lances and just have them as kind of a trading piece that can, do some good Overwatch. And then, actually what I was going to talk about in my video is it's actually pretty good against Chaos Space Marines because the Bright Lances do okay against the transports like the Rhinos, and then it can charge into things like Chosen and actually kind of bully Chosen a little bit. Because Chosen, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but have strength 5 weapons, which wound on sixes, right? So
I'm not sure what their strength is.
I think it's 5. I think they have
Yeah.
5 strength weapons with AP -2, which they're wounding on sixes. Like they're hitting on like probably threes with probably rerolls or something like that, but they're not doing much damage is the point.
Oh, I think I have the perfect one for you, Proxy. What about
Hmm.
some Skyweavers
I like
in melee
Skyweavers.
mode?
Like with the Zephyr Glaives.
Yeah.
Every time I say that, it reminds me of Duralius and Associates, the Zephyr Blade or whatever. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen that like web series on YouTube?
Uh, no.
No, I
I don't
think the
think so.
creators like, man. Okay, so just a quick gripe, real quick, before I move on. That was a great show, and then the creators, for some reason, took all their stuff off of YouTube and like put it behind a paywall. And I was like, what? Like, it was just such a shame, you know? Because they were like getting tons of views and tons of like probably money off of making these animations, and then they just said
Yeah.
nope, yanked it off, which was like interesting. Okay, but anyway,
But I
okay,
think they could be interesting. They give you some more anti-tank, and they give you some
I do like them a
melee that you're
lot.
talking about.
Yeah, I do like them a lot. I almost think like, do we have enough anti
They go
like
that
tank?
speed element. Your two
Yeah,
falcons, kind of your dragons.
got Fuegan.
Flagon.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already think we have enough of that. But that's just me. I mean, I may be wrong. I mean, even the Wind Riders can
Oh,
take out
I was just
tanks.
saying, you're looking for, yeah. I was just thinking maybe they fit that bill of like they could do the melee thing,
Yeah.
anti-tank. They got the speed.
So I definitely think it's really between a couple things. It's between a Falcon and Fire Dragon. So like three
Like
triple
Sky,
dragon.
I think Skyweavers too out of Strat Reserve on
Hmm.
turn 3 can help your
Yep.
cause for clearing out opponents'
I
objectives.
totally agree. Even if we just did one unit of them, I think
Yeah,
Skyweavers are another option. And the third option is Troop with Troop Master and like a Falcon, and maybe we cut the Warp Spiders and add maybe a. Well, no, we couldn't do that, but we maybe add some sort of relic or something like that.
if you're cutting the Warp Spiders, we're cutting the Storm Guardians.
Oh, we can't do that. We
All
need
right
them.
then,
We need
I
them.
draw the line.
Okay, man. All right. So what we have then? Well, we can't have that. So we'll stay with the two warp spiders because I like warp spiders. They're cool. Um, let's just throw in a Skyweaver and see where we're at because maybe one Skyweaver is good for like finishing off stuff,
Yo, what
and then
about Karandras? Just solo
and then Dead of
Karandras.
Night comes in with the folding chair. Man,
Yeah,
you just like hit me with a zinger right there, Cahandras. Yeah, I
dude,
mean,
right though.
he's kind of good. I mean, in this list, right? Like with Scorpions, like what would you run him by himself or with
Or the
Scorps?
Solitaire.
Or you could just run him in the Falcon, right? There's nothing stopping you
Yep.
from
So yeah,
throwing
throw
him
that
in
man on the
there.
Falcon too. With
So we have
yeah,
one Falcon slot. We could technically do a Death Jester at this point,
yeah, I
right?
like the Death Jester
Death
too.
Jester, dude. We might be just onto some Death Jester
Throw out some
shenanigans right now.
characters and
Let's just
Falcons.
throw the Death Jester in there. I think that'd be a good idea, no?
There's just gonna be a boat with Flagon, Death Jester.
Well, because we'll have the Fire Dragon, so Fuegan's in one of them, and the Death Jesty is in the other, right? Yeah, let's throw in Death Jesty. Let's see how
I
that
think
does.
I think a Solitaire surprise out of it, one of the Falcons too, could be fun.
Oh, that would be so cool. Solitaire or Death Jester. I don't know. I think
Eldrad.
both of them are good. Dude, like Eldrad should be so much better, but I think the main thing he suffers from is just the fact that Doom does not actually like it requires line of sight, you know? Which
That's
sucks.
fine. Nah, dude, that's fine. You just
Yeah.
fire and fade him.
Yeah, I guess you could fire and fade
you
Eldrad out there.
Phantasm his little base having.
That's so funny. I mean, yeah, if you have the old model, right? Because the new model is like on a fucking 40 millimeter. My God. Like, okay, so let's do Death Chest. We have 50 points left. 50 points. So
Here
like,
comes that fucking Farseer on or that Warlock on foot, bro.
dude, I was just gonna say that, dude. I was just gonna say that. Warlock on foot. Let's go. We need him.
Does he come back full circle?
It comes back full circle, dude. We have to do it. There he is. So 1995. Okay, so here's the idea of the list, right? Play the secret mission and score either command insertion or unbroken wall. And I think we have enough, and we kind of have enough like characters like Fuegan revives himself, Autarch Wayleaper revives himself, Death Jester, Lone Operative.
Bone
We
off,
have
yeah.
enough lone ops that it actually might be possible just to sit on those and screen with the rest of our stuff. We have
Yeah.
2 units of Swooping Hawks that can screen. We have 2 units of Warp Spiders that can screen, right? We have Shroud Runners, which will probably be dead by then. Storm Guardians will be dead. Fire Dragons will probably be dead. But but
Everything's just dead.
but yeah, I mean most of our list might be dead.
My name's dead.
Well, Dead of Night. I mean, hey, right? It's in the name. Um, but we also have like a lot of killing potential, so they're not going to have a lot of stuff, basically.
Yeah, I think what we did find while building this list, which is super interesting, is I think we found there's a lot of different units that we can play still that just seem okay.
Right.
So like even if somebody's looking to build their list toward the future, like and they don't have these things that we're looking at,
Hmm.
there's plenty of other toys out there at our disposal that
Oh, for
would
sure.
probably work in
Oh,
maybe a little
absolutely.
different ways, but
Yeah, like this
similar
list is nice
outcome.
because you could go triple Falcon and drop something, or if you really wanted to go Avatar of Cain, you could go back to when we had 350 points left and just throw in the Avatar of Cain and maybe like drop a Warp Spider for a Farseer, right? Like on foot for
Yep, and,
fortune.
yeah. Instead of having these things in the anti-tank slot, you can
Right.
kind of fill it with these
Yeah,
things.
like you don't need Skyweavers if you
I,
have an
but I think at
Avatar.
the end of the day, yeah, just speed and maybe how can we think of ways to more so manipulate these new secret missions.
Right. And like I think this whole list really comes down to playing the game as it should be played as Eldar, right? Luring units
Yep,
out, eliminating them, and then in the late game, just capitalizing on the fact that you have more models.
we
You're
could fire and fade
faster.
across the board.
Yeah, exactly. We're much faster, and we can take the objective and also have enough models to screen you out. And
Do
yes,
do
we'll
you
probably
give the
lose
Way
models, but
Leaper?
mhm,
Do you give the Way Leaper the Reaper launcher then?
not a chance.
But what if you're not in that little? What if you're not in
You'll
range for
never be able
firing
to
fade at
see.
the end of the game?
Wait, what do you mean?
Say you want to fire and fade him at the end of the
Right.
game,
hmm
but you only got a little fusion gun, a little baby fusion
Oh, the
gun.
good thing about Fire and Fade is you're thinking of Ninth Edition Fire and Fade. You actually don't need to shoot.
Yeah, but you have to be within range, correct?
Nope. You do not have to shoot. You don't have to be in range. Like, watch this. So, like, oh, we don't have it on here, but
What kind of garbage are you telling me now, Proxy? You're
no, I'm
trying to always.
serious. I'm serious. You don't need to actually be in range or shoot anything to be able to Fire and Fade. The stratagem just simply says pick a unit, move it. Can't charge. That's it. End of shooting phase. Yeah, dude. Dude,
All right.
have you been cheating yourself this entire time, Dead of Night?
Yes.
Well, you learned something, man. You learned something.
Well, I didn't think we cheated the game that much as Eldar players. Jeez.
No, where Fire
I
and
figured
Fade
I
is
figured you kind of had to
cheese,
fire
dude.
the fire, so you could fade the fade.
For sure. Yeah, it makes sense, right?
But
Fire and Fade, you would think, but as a matter of fact, you don't have to.
my dyslexia knows no bounds.
Well, yeah, that'll do it, dude. Especially when reading Warhammer rules. That'll do every time because everything. It's funny. Like, by the way, for you guys out there like listening, I did this Wraithguard video the other day where I totally freaking like misread or misinterpreted the rule, and I was totally wrong. Basically, I told people that if somebody charges you and kills models in engagement, like you could take out your own Wraithguard and then shoot immediately because of their ability before they consolidated. But it turns out that the quote unquote just after in the rules commentary doesn't apply to them because it doesn't say just after, it just says after. So you get, you know,
Yeah.
that one little
Oh
word can
yeah.
change the whole interpretation of it. Yeah, so like, it's crazy. I mean, I guess you could still technically do it if they're outside of engagement. So there is a way to do it. It's
I
just hard.
suppose you could keep your fusion gun.
Fusion guns are, dude, come on. The fusion gun is great, man. Like, how many times have you actually killed something with a fusion gun and been like, yeah, dude,
It doesn't look as cool as
the Reaper
well,
launcher?
yeah,
Okay,
on the
so
way
I'm
leaper.
gonna be real.
Like
Like,
just flying around with a rocket launcher,
dude, it
dude.
is
I
it
don't
is
know.
cool. No, the Reaper launcher is great. Let's be real here. It's cool, but obviously it's the fusion gun's just better in every way. I wish no, dude, if it was last edition's Reaper launcher, I would be tempted to take it because it's like damage 3.
Yeah, damage 3.
So it's like, damn, like last edition's Reaper launcher was like spicy, but this edition's Reaper launcher sucks, you know?
Honestly, I don't think it ignores cover for the way leaper either, which is just
No, it doesn't.
lame.
It's just not as good. Like it doesn't do anything that the Reapers do. Like the Reaper launcher, like Reapers with their like signature weapon, great unit. Autarch Way Leaper with it sucks. I mean, you know, I think that
Or
GW
if I could
needs
have it
to.
with my, yeah, have it with the Autarch Skyrunner Reaper
Oh, dude, that
launcher.
would be so cool. Like in the old days, remember?
Yeah, dude,
Man,
that'd be
remember you
sick.
could actually give the Autarch on Jetbike like all these cool items and stuff, and like now it's like he just gets like ripped off.
He gets all the way ripped off. He could have a Banshee blade. Oh, cool. Thanks.
It sucks, dude. You know what's weird about that is like they're so like, oh, no model or no kit, no model, no rules, whatever GW says. It's like that thing can't even take a Banshee
And like
blade.
same Han, bro. Like they're like they're all about melee.
There's no
They're all
Banshee
about
blade.
melee.
I don't think there's a single Banshee blade in that kit, dude. Like, why do
No,
they
I don't
give
think
that
so.
option
Like
if it's
thinking
no
about it,
model, no rules?
I don't know. I feel like I've always just been making my own.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I made my own too, like way back. I wasn't gonna spend money on that. I'll just get a regular jet bike, put some weapons on a guardian, change the head
Yeah,
out.
put a weird head on there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like no, but yeah, it sucks. I think they should. I'm hoping for a new Autarch Skyrunner kit, but I think he's actually gonna get axed. If I was gonna bet,
Yeah.
you know. And
Proxy, how many units do we have in this list? How many separate
interesting
units?
question.
It's got to be up
Um,
there now with all the characters.
okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
17.
18, 19. 19 units, which is about right. It's about probably what we should have as Eldar. 19 different units.
Well, you only got two of them, three of them. So three of them are in squads. The
Yeah,
Warlock, okay. So 16, which is high, kind of. I
yeah.
think that's more on the higher end.
No, it is, and I think that's good. I think
Yeah,
it's good for Eldar to have more units, just in general. I think that's probably the way to play them. I know there are lists out there that have like double avatar in them and like really focus on and like a you know Wraith Knight, but I don't know. That's not my style. I think that's like that was really popular in the beginning of the edition, and now it's kind of like a liability.
yeah,
But
yeah.
players have had success in tournaments still running that style of list. It's just you have to be really good hot on the rolls. Like I think you can't really fail. You can't have a bad turn with a list like that, right?
I don't
Like
know. Like, I feel like knowing my luck, like I don't ever play the Avatar of Cain, but I know if I were to, two greater demons will just come up and smack him,
oh god.
and I'd just be like, okay, why am I playing Avatar of Cain?
Yeah.
That's what would
Well,
happen to me.
yeah, two greater demons, one avatar of Cain, you know. What can you
Yeah,
say?
exactly.
Um yeah, well as long as they're not Slanesh. As long as they're not Slaneshi greater demons, I think it'll be alright.
Proxy, I was thinking about starting to play Chaos.
Oh, you're
No, I'm just kidding.
killing
No, I'm
me.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You almost killed me. I was able to revive myself. Well, you know what's funny is like a lot of Eldar players that, are in the Discord actually do also play Chaos,
Yeah, yeah.
which is fine. I think if you're gonna play another faction, at least don't play the basic Space Marines, like play something cool like Chaos or something like that. I think Chaos can be cool. I've never been a fan of Chaos Space Marines, but I
If I
mean,
ever do make a second army, it might just be just straight up Ultramarines.
oh, Dead of
Just
Night.
tac squads,
Just the
just
regular
tactical
degular.
squads, rhinos.
Yep, that's how my buddy runs them. That literally the
That
same
sounds
thing.
great.
He just has tactical squads and rhinos, and he has some of the newer stuff too,
Like one land speeder, only one.
but just one. No, you know what's funny? Like back in the day, I would always joke with some of the other like veterans at the store. Like you could tell somebody was new because they would just have the battle force. Like remember back in the day when they had
Oh
battle
yeah,
forces? And they were like
yeah,
they were the worst, dude, for like
yeah. Don't
competitive
be
play.
making fun of little me.
No, no, I'm making fun of little me too because I was the same guy. I mean, dude, you're talking to the guy who, when he got into Eldar, his first purchase was literally Eldrad, box of Guardians, and a Warwalker. Like that was
Wraith Lord.
my. Yeah, you know what, dude? I made the wrong choice, man. I had the choice between Warwalker or Wraithlord, And I looked at them both and I was like, the Warwalker gets 2 weapons. And then the store manager was like, yeah, but the Wraith Lord is really good in combat and really hard to kill. And he was trying to get me to buy the Wraith Lord. And I was like, no, I want the Warwalker. Well, you know what happened? The first
Yeah,
game I
yeah,
played
but
with that
yeah.
fucker.
See, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. You wanted the Warwalker then. Now you want the Storm Guardians.
Well, back then it
You're
was
that
almost
kid.
impossible to get Storm Guardians because you had to buy the
Proxy,
upgrades
you're
for.
now the Warwalker kid.
No, I was the Warwalker kid, dude. And back in the day, if you guys remember, you couldn't take two of the same weapon on a Warwalker. You had to give it different weapons in third edition. So you had to give it a Bright Lance and a Star Cannon. Yeah, those are the days, man. Those are the days. And of course, your Warwalker would always fall apart because it was made of metal. So just
Just want to
randomly
take
just
9
collapse.
again.
Oh, I know, dude. Back in the
9
day when you could take
walkers,
9 of
9
them.
vipers. Let's go.
That would be cool. Well, I mean, I think squadrons were interesting. I think it would have been a really interesting concept to put into
They
practice
still
this
kind of
edition, but
they let all these other armies do that still, right?
actually,
I
no,
mean,
they don't.
do they have them for land speeders and things like that anymore?
Nope. I don't think land speeders can do it. I
No,
think the only thing that can do it is sentinels. Imperial Guard
Sentinels,
sentinels
yeah.
can be taken in threes.
Orcs can with their like some of their stuff.
Yeah, they're like killicans or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean they're not really like equal to like Warwalkers, like in terms of like firepower or anything like that. Could you imagine
Well,
three
that's not our fault.
Warwalkers? Yeah, true. Very true.
That's how it was supposed to be. Remember at the beginning of 10th? It said that in the
I
rules. It
I
said
know, dude.
in the text it said vipers plural,
Yeah.
and the same with warwalkers.
Okay, I'm gonna be real with that though. It's like, yeah, they said that, but like everyone knew like that was a typo, you know? It was like some of
Eh,
the typos were just so bad, dude. They were so egregious at the beginning of the edition. It's like if somebody was literally playing rules as written with everything, like you could not play a game without like some sort of ruling on stuff. Like it was so bad. Oh man, that was funny though. The beginning of the edition. I had a blast. It was an absolute blast. God. Well, I'm excited for Pariah Nexus, dude. Like I
yeah,
really
I
am.
think it's going to be interesting. I think it'll freshen up the games a lot
Oh,
too.
for sure, dude. I've been getting kind of, to be honest with you, I've been getting kind of bored of Leviathan missions, in general. It's so funny because I
Yeah, it
recently,
seems like these days, like the secondary missions don't even nobody even bothers with them anymore.
what, the Gambits or whatever?
No, the actual like my club, we just play Chilling Reign mostly because it's like
Oh yeah, the
who cares?
for sure. Like
The secondary primary mission, yeah,
no one plays that. I mean, I've had some people like that I play pickup games with. They're like really into rolling for it. They're like, oh no, we have to roll for the. I'm like, all right.
right, yeah,
Like it's just stupid. Most of them are just dumb. Like, oh, like minefields. Oh, great. If I roll a 6 advance, I fucking blow up. It's
yeah,
just
right.
stupid. Like it just punishes you for no reason. It's like, no, like come on, you know? I like rules that make it interesting. And that's why I kind of like this
For
Pariah
sure.
Nexus set because it seems like the mission rules kind of make it interesting. It's like, oh, you could raise banners in this mission, or you could bring in units from reserve. It like benefits you. You know what I mean? Instead of like penalizing you. And I think that's a really cool thing. Um, so yeah, I like mission rules in general that benefit or reward tactical play and don't just punish bad rolls. Yeah,
Right.
but I'm looking forward to it.
I think we're really set up too for it. So
Oh, big time, dude. I can't state this enough. Anybody who's watching this video and is like on the fence about whether or not they should play Eldar like going forward, like in this edition, like or is like kind of bummed out or like burnt out of like Eldar, dude, this mission pack will absolutely reinvigorate your love for the faction. I swear to God, dude. Like I swear to Isha, it will happen. And you know, it's funny because I think we're in a place as Eldar right now where we're sitting at about a high 40% win rate, probably a 47, 48% win rate in competitive play, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If you think about, because this is the way I think about Eldar is Eldar are such a cutting edge faction that yes, you will see people win grand tournaments with them, on a consistent basis, but they're going to have a lower win rate because if you don't, well, if you make one mistake in a game, it's usually
That
game
can
over.
be. Yeah.
Or it's close to game over. Like even the best players that make a mistake, boom, done. You know, you kind of
Yeah.
have
The,
to either
yeah. The,
claw
the
your way
last.
back or,
Yeah. The last tournament I was in, I had a 10 pack of warp spiders like hiding behind a building,
Mhm.
and this man deep striked his. It was like a Knight Lancer, I think. Just one giant
Oh,
knight. He deep
yeah,
striked it in right by the spiders. Um,
bad
so
time
I
for spiders.
phantasmed the spiders, but I rolled like a 2,
Yep,
and just how it was, the knight. I mean, it's one of those nickel and dime scenarios kind
right.
of thing. But he could barely see the base of like one warp spider,
Yep, that's how it be sometimes,
and
man.
then he just picked them up.
Yep, it's
You know,
just yeah, get him out of here kind of thing. You know what's crazy? Like I had someone in the comment section recently make this like wild like statement that like Phantasm is the most broken stratagem even now. I'm like, what the hell? How could you even argue that when you could literally half the time you roll it, it does nothing? You know, it's really only
yeah.
good if you roll high or you use it on a character. That's it. Like it is not good on anything else. Plus, it's
I mean,
only infantry.
it was doing pretty well with the spiders going through walls. You know,
Yeah,
if you move
if
them, you're able to shoot
sure,
hugging a wall.
if you can roll that three, bro. If you can roll that three up, it's good. If you don't,
Well, you don't need to. They got the little base.
I think you do have to roll at least a two, though, even with the little base. At least a two or a three, if I'm not mistaken, because it's 25 millimeter, right? So you need a two.
Yeah,
I know that.
12.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Two's not bad.
yeah, and I think once the base size goes up to 28, I think you'll need a three. If I'm not like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think so because you can't fit through like fully through the wall. So you need to roll three at least. No, honestly, Phantasm is one of those things that I think needs to be buffed back in some way because like a D6 movement is so bad. Like I would rather take like anything else, like conditionally, like okay, like I get to use it on any unit, but a unit has to move within 9, right? I would take that over
Or
what we
like give
have
us one
now.
of our different stratagems that we
Yeah,
used to have
exactly.
back or
Yeah, give us
something.
something else then, like all right, Phantasm was too OP, whatever, blah blah blah. Give us something else, for sure. Like,
One of my favorites too that I don't like. I use it all the time, but I feel like I don't ever abuse it. Is Feigned Retreat.
yeah, Feigned Retreat's great, dude. Like if you get
It's so
stuck, it's
good.
so easy to just get out of it. Well, it's like people try to like pull like, oh, I'm gonna engage you in combat like all the time. Like, oh, I'm gonna like, consolidate into your swooping ox, and it's like, okay, I don't care. It's like, yeah, you'll prevent them from sky leaping. That's about it. Like, I'm gonna just Feigned Retreat right out of there, and I'm gonna get free attacks against you. You know,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's okay. So like
For
it
one CP, I mean,
exactly, dude. It's such a good stratagem, and I think any faction that has that is has a leg up in that like utility game. You know what's funny though is there's been times where I get a unit engaged in combat that's like actually good in combat, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, and it's just like funny to get free attacks and then like fire and fade or sorry, feigned retreat out and then charge again. Like you're just getting free damage on top of damage, So good,
right.
so good. All right, man. Well, we've been
I think
talking
we
for
did
a
it,
while.
Proxy.
We made the list. We talked about the new Pariah Nexus. I think that pretty much wraps up today's video, man. But yeah, I mean, any closing thoughts, by the way, about the list or about Pariah Nexus or anything?
No, I think overall it'll be good for our army. I think we have a lot of different ways we could play into it, and I think
Hmm.
we'll even have new ways.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a new Eldar meta to some degree.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I could even see people running Corsair Void Reavers. I just personally, I think you kind of have to
Like
lean really into them if you want to go that route. You have to lean into that, and I wasn't like prepared to do that in this list.
even
But
a strange thought that came to my mind was like Banshees and Dire Avengers might be better as
oh
five
yeah,
packs now.
well, you know what's crazy is I actually think Banshees are really good into new Chaos Space Marines because of fights first and possibly heroic intervention. Because Chaos Space Marines, they
Yeah.
shoot well. Oh my god, don't even get me started about Chaos Space Marines right now. They're fast. They're fast. They're cheap. They shoot well. They have a ton of synergy. They
Yep.
assault well.
They got
Dude,
tricks.
they have tricks. They're good at everything, man. It's like orcs. At least we kind of knew what we were working with. It's like yeah, they're like undercosted and they're like really strong in melee, but like hey, like there's ways to like deal with them. It's like Chaos Space Marines. It's like oh my
Right.
god, dude. And it's like it's 80 points for some legionaries, and you can like dark pact, and you can like reroll all hits, reroll all wounds, -1 AP with the Renegade Raiders like detachment. It's like there's so much stuff there, man. It's like, well, just kill me, just kill
Oh
me already.
no.
I mean, it's like,
Take me
okay,
to the warp.
yeah, dude. I mean, there's been moments like with Eldar. I love playing Eldar for two reasons. First of all, if somebody is like loading up all these dice in the I just take out the I'm like, you know what, you killed him. Good job. Like
Oh,
it
I do the same thing.
you
Like I'm not
just
gonna waste
I'm
any
not gonna
time
waste
here.
any
Like we're
time.
gonna pick this. We're gonna
Dude,
pick up this ranger.
okay, exactly, dude. There was this one guy I remember playing, like, and he was so excited. He had trying to remember the unit he had. He was an Imperial Guard player.
Oh yeah, they do get
And
excited sometimes. I'm like,
yeah,
you can roll your dice if you want. I'll pick them up. I got no problem. But if you
okay.
want to roll them,
Yeah. Dude, he was running in the old days, like in fifth edition. He was
uh,
running one of those giant platoons of like 50 guardsmen in one unit, and it was like he was shooting at a unit of warp spiders. And back then, you could only kill what you could see. So I had one warp spider exarch behind the building, and everything else was like out there in line of sight, right?
yeah.
And I did it because I wanted to bait him out into like shooting his unit at the warp spiders. So he's like counting up all his dice, and he's like about to roll 100 dice, dude. And he's about to roll, and I'm like, I'm just gonna remove them. And I just removed four. I said, hey, you can see four. All of them are dead. He was like, but I wanted to roll. And I was like, okay, go ahead. Rolls this 100 dice, and like, there's so many dice, dude, that like
Just
dice
fall
are
all over the
literally
place.
falling on top of each other. Like they're piling up. There's so many dice. He's like rolling them, and they're like on top of each other,
Took
bro.
you 5 minutes to pick out his hits.
I didn't even. I just was thinking about the next move, dude. I didn't even give a fuck at that point. I was like, oh, like how many wounds you get? Oh, 40 wounds. I'm like, okay. They died. You didn't see it, but I actually rolled it invisibly, and they all died. He was like, that's not fun.
And now you hurt my feelings.
Yeah, it's okay. He rage quit later. Oh my god, man, that was a funny game. That was a funny game. Unfortunately, he rage quit, which was like ironic because actually, like, I didn't think he was losing, but some people just get mad about
Oh yeah.
playing Eldar, like
Oh
because
yeah.
they're so tricky. It's like you pull these tricks, and it's like, yeah, there's the trick, but
Even when they're winning against you, they're mad. It's
I
like, dude,
know,
like,
dude. I know it's crazy. Like, being an Eldar player, this needs to be said. Like, being an Eldar player can sometimes be tough. Like, and that's one of the reasons I actually started the channel because, dude, there's so many dicks out there. We'll just like look at like it's a game first of all, and it's also every single game, no matter what game you're looking at, has a faction that are like Eldar. I mean, like StarCraft. No one liked the Protoss.
yep.
No one liked Protoss. When you're playing World of Warcraft, no one liked Wood Elves, or Night Elves or whatever, right? Not Wood Elves, sorry, the Night
Any
Elves.
elf,
No one
any
liked
elf.
that. Yeah, like people just don't like elves because, or anything like that plays like an elf because they're frustrating.
Tricky
They're
and yeah,
tricky.
frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, well, you can see it like that, or you can find a way to beat it. You know what I mean? Because if you find a way to beat
Yeah.
it, you can actually beat them down pretty hard, and that's satisfying. You know? But yeah, people will be people at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
They'll hate what they don't understand. But all right, well, it's been good having you on, Dead of Night.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having me.
joining, man. This has been awesome. I always like having you on because you have some like pretty bomb ideas when it comes to like Eldar and
No,
stuff, which is
I'm just
cool.
in the house.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And you know, it's getting closer to your GT in the summer, so
I know. That's why I was pumped to do this one in particular to kind of
yeah.
take a deeper look at what's coming.
Hopefully the reveals are soon. More
I'm
reveals.
hoping my jet bike list can still kind of,
I think it'll still be good, man. And the reason why is
especially if I get point
because
reductions.
yeah, exactly. It's going to be very killy, like and I think as long as your list is extremely killy, then you'll be fine because you'll kill all the enemy battle line units. You won't have to worry about them scoring their secondaries
And
and
like
stuff.
my version of this would be like putting the Autarch Skyrunner with a 9 pack of bikes and
Nice.
Warlock. You know, I think that would be the way to go.
Just go full. I don't even full chode, I guess. I don't know what you would call the Autarch Wayleaper with the Warlock combo. Like, damn, that's a lot of that's a lot of spear. You know what I mean?
Hey,
The
I got my
laser
Shining Spears
lance,
ready too.
nice. Well, I mean, they're not as bad as I think people think they are. It's just they're just really hard to use, man. Like I'm gonna be real with you. Like there was times where my opponents like would kind of like outplay my shining spear abilities. So you know, shining
See, to
spears they
me, I'm
can be
like
good, but
they're only 100 points now. Like whatever,
yeah, they're 100 points, right? They're a little cheaper. They trade a little bit better. You
deal with
know.
them. If you don't, my Exarch might live.
Yep. And the
The
Exarch
Exarch
is
like
like
always
pretty good.
lives. He like always lives too.
Yeah, no, the Exarch is good. I like the Exarch.
It's like okay, well, the Exarch lives. He's just gonna go and score some points
Well, you know
now,
what's
I
crazy?
guess.
I'd actually pay 40
Shoot him
points
again.
to just have the Exarch. Like, and nothing
Right.
else. Like, 40 points
Facts.
for the Exarch. Hell yeah, dude. That would be an
Yeah.
auto include, too. Like, people would run the shit out of that. 3 wounds, 4 plus invul save. Like,
That'd be sick to
always.
run Exarchs as characters.
It would. I actually think, like, that should be a thing. For sure. But, well, what
But
are you going to
all
do?
right. Yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
on forever if we don't stop now.
I know we'll go on forever and just talk. All right, man. Well, thank you for having me on. Or, God, look at me having me on. Thank you for being on the
Welcome
channel.
to my show.
And yeah, well, this is the Dead of Night show, so that's why I said it because you know you stole the show, man. All right, man. Thank you so much, and for all you guys out there who have supported the channel over the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, if you can believe that. Thank you so much. You've really made the channel better, and I really appreciate it deeply. If you do want to support the channel, you're watching this, and you know you like Eldar content, love the faction, consider joining our Discord. And you can do that by joining our Patreon, which is absolutely free if you want it to be. Free trial and everything. Of course, I would love it if you supported, but that's up to you. I just really want you guys in the Discord so we can have more people in there, have more discussions and stuff like that. I'll leave the link for that in the description. And I'm also an Amazon affiliate and have a channel store page. So if you want to check out some Eldar inspired apparel, or you want to, you know, grab some discounted Eldar miniatures on Amazon, I'll leave those links in the description as well. And have a good one,
Yeah.
everybody. Thank you, Dead of
I
Night.
just wanted to say I just want to say one last thing, Proxy.
Yep,
I'm in Proxy's Discord as well. If anybody has questions for me, by all
absolutely.
means, hit
Absolutely
me up.
is. Yeah, we have some great guys in the Discord, honestly. There's always good conversations going on. It's not toxic at all. It's honestly the best Discord community I've ever been a part of. And
Same.
obviously, I mean, coming from me, that's like pretty biased, but
No,
it's like,
I can agree. I can agree.
yeah, it's cool, man. We have fun in there, and you know, you can always ask me for advice and stuff, and it's you know, advice is free. All right, thank you, Dead of Night, once again, and I'll see you guys
Yep.
later.
Thanks.
Have a good one,
Bye.
and peace out.